Alright, cleaned, oiled, bobbin loaded. Time for a stitch test. Alright, we've got reverse, forward. What are we? Things look okay. Let's try our zigzag. This machine has pattern discs in it for a and apparently you could get a set. The machine has up to 37 diagrammed on it, but this machine only has the zigzag disc in it, and it did not come with any others. So we'll run it like that for a very long zigzag, and you see we're catching both sides, so that's good. And looking at the back, the bobbin is really yanking the thread down through, even though we're up on a tension of 5 on the upper tension here. Let's see. Now, okay, so the tensioner is gripping because you can see the needle pull back, which means we need to get our bobbin case out and lower the tension on the bobbin case. And to remove this bobbin case, it's got this big black holding bracket here, and then the case pops out, and there are 2 screws on the case. This end just holds the spring onto the bracket, and this is the one that actually adjusts the tension. So we're going to loosen that up with a 1/4 turn there. Slip our case back in. Make sure it seats properly, and then flip this holding finger back. Get our plate back in place. Make sure that our bobbin is there. There, get our 2 threads out. We'll flip this the other side and run it next to now we can see the upper thread is tugging the bobbin up a little bit, which is good for the zigzag. For a fine zigzag like this, we want to be able to set our tension a little bit lower. And this is where we switched it down to about 4, and that's when it started to tug down through So that was our first run. Here's our second run. Well, it's pulling through on one side pretty severely, but not the other. Interesting. Alright, well, maybe yeah, I don't feel like there's enough wiggle clearance. Which side here is pulling through? This is where we started. So it's loose on this side and tight on that side. And our thread pulls around. Like so. All right. I am going to make a minor adjustment here. To get a little bit more movement. And a little more clearance for our bobbin case and thread. Okay. So I moved this large finger to make this gap a little bit bigger here. And now you can see how much more that bobbin case wiggles in there. And the wiggling bobbin case is what lets the thread form the stitch, because the thread has to loop under the bobbin case. So the amount of wiggle you have in that bobbin case is actually the clearance that you have around it for your thread. And since we're up here, okay. Now there's our new stretch. We're still pulling down further on this side. Let's see if yeah, so raising our tension just rebalanced that pull-through problem from one side to the other. All right. This machine might really like high thread tension, which is not always ideal, but try. I don't work on enough of these style of bobbin cases to have a feel for the thread tension when I'm just pulling on the thread. So I'm going to put that quarter turn back in this case to tighten it up. I'm going to get that finger back where it belongs and put our needle plate back in. Oh, okay. Oh. It seems that black finger that holds the oh yeah, look at that. So this black finger that holds our bobbin case in place is actually catching the thread. So I'm going to need to take our thread, our bobbin out, get our bobbin case out. And then take our thing there and I want to pry on this without prying on any other part of the mechanism. There we go. There's my longer, flatter screwdriver. Okay. Now, very gently pried that black finger up. And it's still catching. Yeah. Alright. I'm gonna have to pry a bit more on that. See if that lifted that finger up just the teeniest bit. All right. There we go. Let's try that. So that thread catching there would make the upper tension semi-random for whether it catches on that black finger or not. So let's see now. Okay. See if we get a more even stitch from that. Alright, that's our latest quick test, and the lower tension is very high. But it's still pulling most from this side. Weird. Okay, well. Alright, our latest stitch. Okay, there we go. Yeah, loosening that bobbin thread worked out pretty good. And we're getting a little better stitch. If I loosen that. Yeah, it's still pulling on one side more, but we're in the right area here, so I am going to pop this apart and clean it some more. And I will probably file what can I think I'm going to have to take these two brackets off and clean underneath them to be certain that I've got everything out of there. Just because I've cleaned everywhere else, and these kinds of issues are usually a problem due to cleaning issues. So I'm going to take this top bracket off first. And this just slides out of the way. And then this bottom bracket needs to have all 3 of the screws removed. Wipe that off thoroughly, and there isn't much that was under here, but I guess having taken that out, I have an opportunity to put it back in and see about getting it back in and double checking the measurements or the adjustment on it. So the 3 screws, this one has a shoulder that goes in this corner because that's the pivot screw for the black finger, and then the other 2 screws for this bracket are the same. We'll start with the bracket. This bracket mostly slides left to right, and I'm putting it in and just setting the screws in place. Once they're tight in place, we can set our bobbin case, and then I push the bobbin case in so it's tight on the race here, and now I have to set it with the teeniest bit of clearance so that it wiggles around in there. And I'm just doing this by feel, and I think I like that. So I'm gonna finger tight these and rattle that around in there some more. The gap looks good and feels good, so I will tighten this down. And by look good and feel good, I mean it's just got a teeny bit of rattle that seems like just enough space for the thread to get around it, because this main bracket holds the bobbin case in place, but the case has to be able to let the thread around it. Now that we've got the metal bracket in, or the first bracket in, we have to assemble the second bracket on top of it. And I totally forgot that this second screw so this metal or this black bracket fits like so. It's got a pivot end, and then it goes in under that second screw to clamp. And you put your And now with this bobbin case in place, we have to pry gently on this to adjust the gap behind the finger here. Which I think I just got lucky and did on the first try. So I'm going to tighten this up and then we'll do some more stitch tests. Alright, we cleaned under that bobbin case, took the brackets out, reinstalled the brackets. And with regapping, we're getting a little bit of pull through on a setting of 3 or 4, 3.5. So let's try a 4 on the upper tension. Okay. Doing better there. Alright, let's that bobbin tension is still just very high. Let's okay, now we got pull through. Yeah, okay. 3.5 gets us a pretty even stitch. Okay. Which means we should be able to turn us back up to like 5, go for a straight stitch, full length. Okay. 5 is resulting in just the tiniest. That's pulling up to the top. Okay, so this bobbin tension is low for a straight stitch. What is happening? Is my... Wait. There we go. Even tension for a straight stitch. It's doing a pretty fair left to right zigzag. Unfortunately, some of these machines, you just have to be prepared to do a different setup on tension for zigzags and straight stitching. So I think I'm gonna call this machine working. If I had another one of these bobbin cases handy, I would switch it out and try a different bobbin case, just in case it's an issue with this bobbin case, but I think yeah, I think that's pretty good. So